2 years ago, I was in my second year of college and I was studying electrical engineering. And I was already in the middle of my self improvement journey. I've already started learning about gym, health, sleep, all of that stuff. So I was really motivated to keep going on that. And I remember that something that people used to tell me all the time is, how the hell do you get such good grades if you don't even spend that much time studying? Like, we never see you in the library. You told us that you didn't prepare for this test and you got like 16 out of 20, which is a really, really good grade in France. And people would just ask me these questions. And I just kind of thought that I was smarter than others, and that was just genetic. But once I got into my first major self-improvement rut, I realized that it wasn't granted at all. In today's video, I'm gonna tell you exactly the 3 rules that I followed during my studies, which didn't relate to studying at all, but which made my health and my productivity extremely competitive. I ended up becoming one of the best. I literally ended up becoming the best student in my entire year of electrical engineering. The classes are smaller, like we were like 75, then 50 in the second year, but I was the single most productive student out of 51 people. And here's my grades. You can see them. You can see that I'm actually first, and I'm not boasting. I'm just gonna tell you what I did, and I hope that it's gonna help you too. Alright, so the first thing I realized, and I actually didn't get this one from self-improvement, I just learned it from my own experience, was that you have to stay on the crest of the wave. You see, like in surfing, it's not exactly the crest, but you gotta stay in front, right in front of the crest, so that you get propelled forward. If you go way too back behind, if you slip behind the wave, you're gonna lose it. You're gonna fall back. You're not gonna be able to get back on the wave, and you're gonna basically have to look for another wave, which means waiting for another semester. If you go way too much in front of the wave, you're gonna be so much in front that you're not gonna even get propulsed. You're not gonna get pushed forward because you're already there. Like the wave is way behind. So this same principle actually applies to studying. You see, when most people study, they come to class unprepared. You know, like there's 2 types of people that usually go to class. There's like the nerds who know everything already, who spend most of their free time studying. They come to class, they know everything, and still they're miserable, and still they're not learning. They're just fucking bored because they already know everything. And there's the other type, like, you know, like these high school alpha males, but who also suck at studying, who are really bad at studies, who are just doing sports and fuck girls, basically. These guys come to class, they don't know everything, they get bored. Obviously, the teacher is yapping about something unimportant, that it doesn't get him more girls, it doesn't get him more jacked, it doesn't make him a better leader in his fucking baseball team, so he isn't gonna give a shit. And that's completely understandable because the school system is fucked. But you can exploit the school system, you can still adapt to it, you can still make progress in it and actually enjoy the process. And the way you do this is by coming to class with exactly the knowledge that you need to be both interested and understand what the professor is saying. You've probably heard of the flow state, of this productivity thing, like when you're doing a task which is way too easy for you, you get bored from it, you're not interested. And when you're doing the task which is very hard for you, you're like, you don't understand anything, it feels way too hard, you feel like getting distracted and stuff. The same works with classes. When you go to class, you need to be in the middle. You've got like this middle ground where you understand things and you're actually interested in them. And especially if what you're studying is related to your career, which was at the time when I wanted to be an engineer. So I was like, yeah, that's great. Power electronics is great. All of these things are great. And once I realized that, I started optimizing for maximum productivity in class. Not after class, not before class, but in class. Literally when times we had lectures or some lab work, I would come there with maximum preparedness and just crush it, just fucking enjoy my way through this. And actually, when you stay on the crest, when you stay on the wave, you don't need to study at home that much at all. Like I didn't study more than 1 hour a day to become the best student in my year of electrical engineering. But here's the catch. You cannot stay on the wave of studying if you are sleep deprived, if you just ate a bunch of sugar, if you are just a gooner. You cannot do that because your brain is not going to function correctly. You're not going to have enough brain power to follow the class. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you the 3 rules that I followed, which actually helped me improve my health and which actually, without me even noticing, made me so productive in class that I became the best student basically. Alright, so rule number 1, and also the most important one, is that sleep always comes before studying. If you have to choose between studying but being sleep deprived and just going to bed early and waking up refreshed but not studying, always take the second option. Because I've seen this countless times, students who go and pull all-nighters, who go sleep deprived right before a test. And they understand this, they want to be as prepared as possible, but the thing is, if you try to study all night, or even if you just deprive yourself of 2 extra hours of sleep, the next day your brain is going to be like 50% less efficient. And if you do a test, especially if it's a hardcore test like most engineering tests, you are going to fail it. You are better off literally sleeping and trying to figure things out as you go through the test than just trying to put the information into your brain and then being sleep deprived. Because at the same time, whatever the fuck you learn during the night isn't gonna stick with you. Because if you're sleep deprived, your brain isn't gonna pull this information and put it into long-term storage. You probably know that the knowledge that you learned is moved from short-term memory into long-term memory during the night, when you sleep, and when you sleep properly. If you sleep like 5 hours, it's not gonna do this, it's not gonna work. So you may as well just sleep before class as much as you want, and then going there refreshed, even if it's a test. If you've been listening like a minimum in the classes before that, you'll still be able to construct something out of that knowledge and make something out of it, and your brain is going to be prepared, at least mentally. Now there is one and only exception that I can think of, which even I had to resort to, is when you have a big project to send by tomorrow. When you have a big deadline, which is not a cognitive test, it's not like a thing where you actively sit and use your brain. Sometimes you have to sacrifice some hours of your sleep before you go to bed to just finish it, get it done and send it. Now rule number 2, and this rule literally no one fucking follows it. No student I know other than me follows it. And so if you do this, you're gonna become OP. And the rule number 2 is you don't eat carbs in the morning, or you eat very low carbs. You eat like 1 banana and that's it. You don't send a bunch of cereal down your throat first thing in the morning, because this is gonna, first of all, it's gonna break your entire body, it's gonna be bad for your health. And then you're gonna notice it through your productivity. Your brain is gonna be foggy for the next 5 hours, you're not gonna be able to focus, you're gonna get distracted, you're gonna feel like work sucks. So just bear with me. You don't need to eat carbs in the morning. I used to eat 5 eggs, literally 5 fried eggs in the morning and a coffee, and that was it. And sometimes supplemented with nuts. But no carbs. Like, recently I started going to the gym in the morning, and this is why I started adding fruits in the morning. This is important for physical performance. But if you're studying, if your main goal is productivity, no carbs in the morning. Your brain is going to be better, your brain is going to be generally more healthy, and you're going to be more productive. These things are so intrinsically linked, like you don't realize this, but your health and your productivity is the same thing. It's the same body, it's the same brain. If you don't take care of your body, if you don't take care of your health, your brain is not going to follow. But I know you're going to say things like, oh no, but I absolutely need to eat something sweet, otherwise I don't feel I'm too hungry. Well, are you a bitch or something? Just fucking stop. You know that your body can adapt to anything. And your food intakes are timed by this hormone called ghrelin, which is released by your stomach. And this hormone is basically making you hungry. If you don't eat anything in the morning for 2 weeks straight, you're not gonna want to eat in the morning anyway. Your entire nutrition is just one big habit. You can change it however you want with some discipline. You can literally eat, if you eat at 12 every day for lunch, you're gonna keep getting hungry at 12. But if you stop getting food intake at 12 and you push through hunger for 2 weeks and eat like at 3 p.m., you're gonna adapt. Your brain is gonna actually start to feel hunger at 3 p.m. This is how you literally fix any problems of your life. You get disciplined for a short period of time and then it becomes a habit. And obviously you can still eat protein and fat in the morning. There is no problem with that unless you like literally stuff your stomach with protein. Like you eat, if you eat 200 grams of protein in the morning, of course this may not be very good idea for productivity, but still good for bulking though. But if you just eat a couple of eggs and a coffee and maybe an apple, you're gonna be fine. Alright, let's go to the last rule in this video. The rule number 3 is that you need to generate power. It's not like you can just sit all day and think that your brain can be productive. You need to generate power. But most people think, when it comes to gym and lifting weights and cardio, they think they use power there. Like they literally, that's logic. Like you take calories out of your body and you use them, you burn them to produce power, which is dissipated as heat when you lift weights. But you don't realize, but I'm not talking about power which is like physical energy. I'm talking about mental energy. And what happens with mental energy is when you live a healthy life, which means you exercise every single day. Maybe not highest intensity exercise, but still you do something every single day. Your brain is gonna generate more mental power. Like I remember I was in my peak disciplined period and I would go to the gym in the evening. I would literally come home from school from university at like 7 p.m. and instead of staying home and eating, even though I was hungry for the past 6 hours, I would go right to the gym and start lifting weights. And it felt so good. I would come back home, I would just be like that in front of the mirror and just flex and eat my dinner, eat like 100 grams of protein in one go. And that's how I would live. And actually when I stopped doing that, when I started skipping the gym for studying, that is when I realized that the power is not there. I don't have any more energy. Like I literally feel tired in class. I literally feel like I don't want to go do this. Like the teacher is saying some bullshit. I don't want to listen. I don't like this subject. I don't want to go. Once you stop exercising, your body is going to notice it and your brain is going to notice it. And when you are basically not exercising is a metabolic dysfunction. I know that 80% of people nowadays have it, but this doesn't mean it's normal. So you need to do something. So find the time in your day dedicated to the gym. I think lifting weights is the best thing. Like there's a reason why everyone's doing this, and I tried different sports, and for me lifting weights has always been the highest power output thing. I would come home and I feel energetic, maybe not physically energetic, but I would just feel like my brain is lit up with activity. You know, like these MRI scans, like functional MRI, where they inject some radioactive thing in your brain and they look which parts of the brain receive the most blood. This is how you notice the regions which are the most active. They get the most blood. So when you do this kind of scan, you can see the brain activity. And I would literally imagine myself once I come back from the gym where there's like this big MRI machine around my brain and I would just see all the regions light up. And this is how you feel when you exercise. And I really hope that you can assimilate this and start using this in your life, because this is just OP. You're improving your health, you're getting jacked, and at the same time you're productive without even putting in much effort. So this is why health is so important for any aspect of life. I cannot stress this enough. Your health is what literally reigns over any other thing. Business, productivity, finances, even social life all come secondary to your general health. And they're all even are a part of your health. Like your social life is a part of your mental health, which is closely intertwined with your physical health. So there's no reason to, like, it's just stupid to neglect one of them and think that you can live with that. So yeah, I hope these rules were helpful. They really helped me back in the day. And even though right now I'm more focused on other things in my life than studying, I'm still extremely grateful for what I did back in the time. And I actually I didn't say this before in the video, but these grades and being the best student allowed me to get into this highly prestigious master's program in France. So yeah, if you're ambitious, if you want to become an engineer, if you want to become a doctor, if you want to do anything, if you want to become productive, literally you don't even have to be in university. studying yourself and being productive in your home, if you have like an online business or you're working on something else, if you're doing any kind of intellectual work, which is literally unavoidable in the 21st century, this advice is gonna help you. This advice is gonna help you. So yeah, I hope you learned something and I hope that you implement this. I'll see you next time.